I've ran 10 marathons in 10 days, three 100 milers. I once did 550Ks in 5 days, and I've always been able to run the next day. I used to have a 933-day running streak, and these shoes are the things that have been able to help me do this. And I think it's important that we discuss a couple things about this. I think the Ultra zero drop type shoe is the best shoe for running. So I actually have one here. It's like the Ultra Paradigm zero drop, and basically what that means is there's no heel lift, like millimeter heel drop, like Nike's have 4 millimeter or 6 or whatever it is. And I know this is controversial. I don't care. This is one of the things that I'm gonna like live or die by. And I believe zero drop shoes, I don't think it necessarily has to be Ultra brand, but I think zero drop is the best for running and will help you avoid injury and is the healthiest. And here's why. Our biology, our anatomy, like our when we were hunters and gatherers, we didn't have all this heel lift. Like we walked around more barefoot or maybe something to protect our feet. But when we think about the foot and the way we developed, I don't think it was lifting our heels and walking on the front of our foot. There's this great book, Born to Run, and they talk about how when Nike and other brands started implementing heel drop, because the idea was if my foot is lifted like this when I take my next step, I'm already forward, right? What the book talks about how injuries increase, and this was an idea that was implemented to make us faster. But the problem is you're adjusting your foot, and it's not even just about the heel drop. I like shoes with a bigger toe box so that your toes can splay out a little bit more. It also doesn't make sense to me to just cramp up the toes with these narrow pointed shoes, because I don't think it's natural for the foot. And if you have foot problems, knee problems, hip problems, back problems, I think that can all be boiled down in a lot of situations to your foundation, which is your foot, right? And so if you're cramping your foot, you're having it be in an unnatural position and then pounding it thousands of times a week, of course you're going to have injuries. It's going to develop over time. And so I'm a big fan of Ultra just because they're great zero drop shoes. I also walk around in a lot of like Vivo barefoot minimalist shoes. I walk around in those. I'm not too much of a barefoot runner, and I have nothing wrong with it. I've gone on like barefoot runs. I just don't do it as much. But I think if you fix your foundation, then you're going to obviously be doing much better and more likely to avoid injury. When I first started doing this, I had to transition into it, because here's what I hear people say about zero drop. They're like, I got injured when I did that, or it hurts when I run in that. And to me, I think, duh, yeah, of course. We have been raised, I mean, since you're 2 years old, you get these cute little baby shoes your mother and father put on you, and it's cute, and it's funny, and it's cramping your foot as you're developing. Your toes don't get to splay out like they should. Your foot is just compressed as you're a kid, from 2 to 22, just compressed, and you're not going to be able to develop fully. So if you've always had all this support, this compression, it's going to take time for the feet to develop. And so what I recommend people do is they walk around in minimalist shoes or barefoot shoes as much as they can. And if they get zero drop shoes, they start incorporating a couple miles a week or one run a week. And I mean, you have to develop the foot, because the foot has all these muscles, and if they've been kind of, there's some sort of compensation because they're not able to grow and develop because of all the cushion and support, it's going to be weak, and so it is going to hurt, and you're probably going to get injured. It takes time though, and I believe it's worth it because it's much more natural for the foot. So people who diss on zero drop, they're just not going into it right. I think if you have underdeveloped foot muscles, you can't just jump straight into zero drop or always be in minimalist shoes. I mean, it's like if we started in the gym and I said go squat 300 pounds, right? Those muscles, that strength isn't developed. And so for you to do your normal 30, 40, 70 mile week in shoes that make your feet muscles work harder and develop in a good way, but they're not developed, of course you're going to get injured. So I'm a big fan of Ultra. There's other brands or zero drop shoes out there. That's what I would look for, is no heel lift and a wider toe box, because it's much more natural for your your foot, and I swear by it. I think it's been key to my success of staying injury free. Hope that helps, and I look forward to seeing you on the trail sometime soon.